Okay. So first, let me know how you're doing. It's good to see you. I'm pulling it up. I'm going to read from a website. Okay. So we're talking about the Heka, which is our power, and the ways that we release our power and how we can practice more empowering moments. Okay. So in Kemet, the Heka is known as our divine power of creative speech. Your Heka in Kemetic Spirituality is your divine utterance. It's the power of releasing your word magic into the earth, where every word you speak, Rich Rising Moon, every word you speak is either building or destroying your spiritual reality. I'm going to say that again. Every word you speak is either building or destroying your spiritual reality. We're talking about Heka, Kemetic Spirituality. And so what that means is when you are verbalizing certain things, you are building your reality and causing the experience. For example, people can't be trusted. If you say that, that is your reality, and you cement it into your being such that when you see human behavior, your interpretation is going to be people can't be trusted, and you're going to have more untrusting experiences, even when the situation wasn't untrustworthy. Do you see what I'm saying? So in Kemet, your Heka was your divine utterance, the way that you speak and what you say about your reality shapes it. And then when you release it to other people who agree with you, it becomes even more cemented because you have agreement. We know that there's power in agreement. Your Heka is your divine creative power to utter, to call those things that are not as though they were. That's your Heka. When you use your Heka in negative ways, you build or destroy a reality. I would say you build and destroy reality. You build one that is based upon negative precepts, and you destroy timelines. You collapse timelines that could work in your favor. So the question is, how are you using your Heka today? We're talking about Kemetic spirituality. Kemet is the original name of the land called Egypt. Okay? Modern destructive speech patterns are unconscious Heka, working against your highest good. Thank you for that. So if you know that the ways that you speak build and destroy timelines, what would you do differently? If you don't like, hey light, if you don't like what you see in your reality, you need to start with your words, speaking those things that are not as though they were, because they are. So again, using that untrustworthy example, instead of saying people can't be trusted, that's not what you're going to say. See, you're so used to seeing this negative unconscious Heka that you use it unaware. And I want to wake you up and open your eyes to your power. You are the divine in human form, and your divine utterance, your Heka, is your building platform. So what are you building with it? So going back to that untrustworthy paradigm, instead of saying people can't be trusted, you could say something like this: I've had some experiences with people that were not trustworthy. However, I call forward trustworthy beings. Because see, here's the thing. When you see people as untrustworthy, you got to ask yourself, How are you not trusting yourself? Let's get into that. What self am I talking about? I'm talking about intuition. If you are honest, and we all have to be honest if we want to elevate, you saw things and you overlooked them. Maybe you overlooked them because you didn't know what they meant. That means it was a learning situation. Maybe you overlooked them because you liked the person. That was a divine choice. So we can't blame that on other people. Maybe you overlooked those things because you wanted to see. You were curious. Again, that has nothing to do with other people. Can we be honest? Because without this honesty, you're going to keep building timelines that you don't like and collapsing the possibilities that you actually want. Can you see this? We're talking about Heka, your divine utterance, your ability to create realities and timelines with your words. It's time for spiritual people to come off of the bandwagon of speaking from painful experiences and learn how to create something different. You can describe what happened. You need to describe what happened. You also need to reframe it according to universal truth so you can flow. Let me say that another way. When you hold something like people can't be trusted, you're in a vibration of suspicion. That's a low vibration. So you think you want trustworthy experiences, but you don't vibrate. You're not a vibrational match for trustworthy experiences. So you get experiences and you keep interpreting it as untrustworthy, whether it's trustworthy or not, because you can't trust your intuition. You don't trust your intuition. You lean on suspicion and you think your suspicion is your intuition. Let me tell you the difference between suspicion and intuition. Can I do that? Are y'all listening? Suspicion is a learned behavior from negative experiences. It's a generalization. It's based on fear. Hey, Olivia, your intuition is divine instruction from the indestructible, infinite part of you. It's two different things. When you're suspicious, you have contraction. You're remembering things that have happened to you in the past and you don't want it to happen again. So you're trying to avoid it. That's suspicion. So many people post from suspicion. But your intuition says something like this. That doesn't sit right with me. So I'm going to make a personal choice to decline this experience. That's your intuition. Suspicion goes, see, I know this because I wasn't born yesterday. I know people be trying to get over, and it's not going to happen to me. I'm going to set a boundary. That's what your suspicion sounds like. That's way different than intuition. And you don't trust your intuition because you have learned not to trust it growing up. You have learned how to trust things outside of you more than things inside of you. And nobody told you that your intuition is not always leading you into comfort. Sometimes your intuition is leading you into discomfort to expand you. But if you're busy blaming other people and you don't extract the nuggets from your experience, you use your Heka to destroy timelines that you really want because you're not a vibrational match. So many people are walking around here thinking they're a vibrational match for something healthy, for something good, for something expanded, for something evolution oriented. They think that because they want it. Yet when they open their mouths, you can tell that you're not a vibrational match because people who are ready or people who are vibrating on those levels don't talk a certain way. That's why you got to get around some people who exercise spirituality in their divine speech. Because otherwise you'll mess around and be agreeing with negativity and y'all will be collapsing timelines together. Olivia, you get that, right? So when I grew up, Super Mario Brothers was a thing. Y'all remember that? And remember the bricks? The bricks would be right there and you would have to jump under the bricks and knock them off. Imagine the bricks being your timelines that you actually want. But your Heka is you bumping up against it and breaking it. Y'all remember that? And this teaching is the star box. When you hit the star box, you power up, or that mushroom, you power up. I want to power you up to stop destroying what you actually want and come into vibrational match with it. You cannot have any experience that you're not a match for. You'll say you want good communication, but your communication is poor and you don't know it because you haven't been watching your Heka. You've been being shaped by pain and your past experiences. So then a good communicator will come and you won't communicate well. They won't like it and they will go away because you're not a match. That's why it happens. So if you want to start building timelines that you actually want, one way I'm suggesting to you is watch your Heka. Hey, Dory. Watch your Heka. Let's continue. In Kemetic study, initiates was taught speech mastery. This is not about positive speech and not saying things that are negative in your world. It's about understanding when you're a vibrational match to something and when you're not, and you can hear it through your words. I coach people all day. I study words. I practice spiritual practice with words. And so I hear certain spiritual people talking particular ways, and that's when I know what their vibration is a match for. You got to become an expert in your divine Heka. All right. Self-mastery begins with speech mastery. Purify your inner world to purify your words. So some people think understanding, right? Some people think I'm just going to not say that. And so you sound spiritual, but your whole mental process is very low vibration. And when I say low vibration, that's not a judgment. We just know that frequencies have a vibration. Okay. And that's low. I'm just not going to say it, but I still think it. And you still believe it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something far more potent, right? That's what you said in your head, right? So you got to purify your inner world. What is your inner world? Your inner world consists of your belief systems. You got to be honest about what you believe. And a lot of people cannot be honest because they're unconscious. So what happens is you draw people who cause a contraction, and then you blame them for being a particular way. They're this, they're that, they're that. But to purify your inner world, you must ask, number one, what is this reflecting to me about me? Because I'm having this experience. I'm contracting. What belief is this violating? Is this belief consistent with universal truth? Do you even know universal truth? That's why I suggest people study universal truths. That's why I offer my unconventional Bible studies. That's why I offer my Hermetic study, because you got to know universal principles and laws so that you can purify your mind. Let me give you an example. So you may feel that people are untrustworthy. You can't trust people. People lie. You may believe that. So you meet someone else and you say, you in your spiritual language, because I'm talking to the healing community, the spiritual community, you use healing terms like, high vibrations only. But you carrying the low vibration with people can't be trusted. Hey, I am all. You use your spiritual language. I'm here for ease. I'm here for flow. We know these spiritual words. But on the inside, you contracted with that thought, thank you, of people can't be trusted. That's double-mindedness. There's a scripture that says a double-minded person is unstable. Now you don't trust yourself because you don't know if it's really the person or you. That's why the ancients said, know thyself. If you know that you have experienced situations that have shaped you into suspicion, then it's time for you to work on that and not keep trying to blame other people. And then when you want to blame other people, you go, hey, wait a minute. I know I got this suspicious program in me. Let me go talk to someone who doesn't have a suspicious mind. and see how they perceive this. Because I know that this is suspicious program, it comes up and I am doing away with it. So let me engage with another vibration who has different perceptions, and let me see what I can shift within this, because I'm tired of blaming other people. I'm tired of saying that people are this and they are that and they did this. You don't know, but that's a disempowering stance. Some people call it a victim mentality. I don't like to call it that. It's disempowered thinking. So to purify your inner world, you gotta, hey vet, you have to get that disempowered way of being out of you. Purify your inner world, right? Because if you don't purify your inner world, you will engage in self-sabotage over and over and over again. And you will be telling the same story about people, different people. And then sometimes you try to spiritualize it. So you'll say, what about me? Because we all ask this, but we got the wrong memo. What about me has attracted this? That's not the question. The question is, what is this showing me about myself and my belief systems? So if you don't have a belief system that people can't be trusted, then you don't think that. It doesn't come in your mind. Ashe. It doesn't come in your mind, right? So you may think that person is hurting. Let me ask them a question. Or that person is confused. Let me ask them a question or something. So we're not just talking about controlling what you say. That's step one. But we're talking about purifying your inner landscape by understanding what you believe and seeing if those beliefs align with universal truth. And if they don't, restructure them to mimic or be simultaneously, right, with universal truth, simultaneous. So let's again, you may say, oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired, because we say stuff like that. Hey, Groove Thing. Instead of saying, I'm so tired, right? Because when you say, I'm so tired, you start experiencing it. Say, I'm calling forward more rest. I'm easing my mind into more rest. I'm easing my body into an easier flow. You see that? Do you see it? I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I'm bringing myself into more ease. Now you're empowered because you're bringing yourself. I'm so tired means you're being acted upon by something else, and that might be true. But what is also true is you create timelines. Thank you, I am. That's true also. So if you know that there are alternative truths, and those alternative truths have, hey Madison, have different vibrations and frequencies, wouldn't you want to experience the truth with the higher vibration and frequency if you know that there are different truths? So the truth is, you feel tired. But the higher vibrational way of thinking about that and saying it is, I'm bringing myself into more ease today. I'm tapping into more peace and harmony today. I'm tapping, see, now you're instructing your cells. Now you're instructing your brain. You, the indestructible you, is instructing your brain and your ego now to bring more ease and more rest and give you more thoughts that tap into peace. So your ego might say, as a servant to that, here's a book about peace. Here's a live talking about peace. Here's a peaceful practice. Do that. That's how your ego serves you. It's a whole sermon, Madison. Remember yesterday I was telling you, your ego is a cruel master, but it's a beautiful servant. It's a cruel master, but a beautiful servant. And so managing your Heka and purifying your inner world will cause you to think differently and speak differently and interpret differently. Ashe, we're talking about Heka. This is our Kemetic study. I got 4 more minutes and then I have another client. Your mouth. And when we say our mouth, we're not talking about just the mouth. We're talking about what's coming forth from you. There's a scripture that says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And also, you speak from the abundance of your heart. Can we park right there for a minute? This scripture is talking about your belief systems. You speak from the belief systems that you have practiced, the abundance of the heart. You speak from that. I can tell what people believe by what they're saying, even when they don't know it. Okay? You speak from what you believe, from the belief systems that you have practiced. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So I'm talking about your speech patterns. Your mouth is either a temple of creation or a tomb of destruction. And it says, choose wisely. So here's the practice. Stop using words casually. Be intentional about what you're saying. Your words either bring you into because I'm looking for that other word, either bring you into wellness or curse you. Begin speaking only what you want to manifest, affirm, and become. So let's say your knee is hurting. We know you know your knee is hurting. So what you're going to say is, I'm experiencing some energies in my knee. My energy is hurting. My knee is hurting. Okay. And I am calling forth, or I'm looking to discover remedies. I'm looking to understand what is causing my knee to hurt. Simple. There's so many ways we can get creative with that. I'm looking to understand what can help my knee. Right now, I got some frequencies in my knee. It hurts. But at the same time, I am discovering ways to manage that. Okay. All right. So that is it. That is our Kemetic study for the day. Practice intentional speech and watch what happens. Watch how it shifts the way you feel. Watch how it brings forth new timelines and new experiences. Watch how your vibration shifts. Okay? Ashe. Hey, Fazila. Peace and blessings, y'all. All right. Peace, y'all. Have a good day.